Okay, you can get it from the YouTube video, but I'm going to continue it. Okay, we have talked about the working sessions in the setting up the work directory, and we have talked about the four windows of the R console, the environment, files, and the console, and this one. The R Studio, you can go for any R script, you can go any the recent files which you have used, you can get it from here. You can import any of the data sets from here. If it is from Excel, it is from the SPSS or statistical software, a SAS or stata file. Okay, you can get it from here. If you wanna go to open up a new project, you can open a project. Okay, so open a project means that you have downloaded something or you have started any project over here, so you can get it from there. Okay, so whatever, these are the methods to get your file on, and these are the R projects which you are going to talk about. So it's only the time that we are going to just going through with the basics of the R command. Now I'm going back to the document, and our studio document is like I have discussed the these opening interface of the R Studio, and I have discussed how to start a new project in the R Studio. You can get it by using the new directory, and I'm going to discuss the basic commands in the R Studio. So you can see that this is a going to write about the log of the R Studio. So all of us know that if I'm going back to share the screen of the R Studio, if you're gonna write any of the command, in your panel like log. Observe this, that it is going to help you out that how can you get working on these commands. Like it is x and then the base exponent to 1. And it is written here that log computes logarithms. By default, natural logarithms log 10, computes common, that is base 10, and logarithms and the log 2. So you will have some info over here by writing the command, by using this command, and you can get it here. Okay, so once you write it here and you need to run the command, if I'm going it right on the right track, so it will, you will get the result. You can see that you will get this result. Now you can rename, you can name this outcome or this command. So you just need to write, like if I'm going to write any variable name, say A. So you will get the result over here. You can retype, you can copy paste, you can do anything. Okay, now I'm going to rerun this command. So I have a variable A. Now if I'm going to run the variable A here, you will get the result of the log 10, which is 2.302. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, so now going back to the document, I'm hoping that now you are listening to me. I'm very clear. So if you gonna go back on the document, the Rstudio basics, you can run the command and you can read it very carefully in your spare time. Now, these are the some operators which we are going to learn about the R commands, which are R command is static, the multiply. And if you're gonna do multiplication, you can do static, division is slash, exponent power is cap, log 10x I have just shown to you, and log base x is x comma base. It means that whatever the base is, base means that we are going to work in which base. Commonly or the naturally we work on the 10 base, but it's this time we are working on the base 5. So we can write it here. The log of 25 when we are talking about the base 5. And the sum of the products you can clearly see here. You can do it just by the comma sets. Okay, so now these are the some directions you can do in your spare time as the practice using R scripts. Now I'm going to repeat what I have told you earlier, that if you're going to open some R script, you're going to use some new file or the new R script, you will have a plain page for the commands, and you need to go on the new file and the R script, and you need to run this button. I have used it in front of you by submitting the log 10 command, and the new variable will displayed in the environment. Now I'm going to show that in environment how you going to use the new variable. Okay, you can just see there that your work is has been stored here in the form of variable. It's here that you can run it by using your keyboard by pressing Control plus Enter simultaneously. So you can also run the command. Okay, now there is coming back towards the screen of the RStudio, I'm going to tell you that the variable which we have built, A, it has been in the environment. So whatever you are working in the R script is going to be created or stored in the environment. Okay, and the outputs are shown in the console. Now going back towards the document, we have is like that, create a new script. Now it's a some exercise for you that you can create a new script and start with the working the variable 2, and you can get the mean of the variable, and how can you save your script. Okay, so if you gonna create some variable, you can do this very easily. I'm hoping that you can do it very easily, the mean and the things. Okay, let's show you. These are the basics. Okay, if you gonna I'm going to create a variable number 2 with these numbers like 12, 1, 15, 3, 20, 6, and 11. This is the data set, and we're gonna run it. And now I'm going to find out the mean of the variable 2. So I can clearly get it by just naming the variable 2. It's already stored in your window, you can see here. So I can just choose from here the variable 2. You can also see that in environment you have constructed or built the variable number 2. And now I'm going to run this, the variable 2. You got the mean of the variable 2, 9.7. So whenever you want to retrieve it, you can find the mean of the variable, or maybe you can write a variable name like b, or you can write any of the name. So you can get it, just have the variable. It's free to copy or paste in the R software. And you can see that this is the environment in which the B has been written. Now, if I'm going to return the um, B, or the mean of the variable 2, I can just press the control plus enter instead of the run command if you are going to not using the run button, okay? So it's gonna go with the control plus enter. So you can get easily, very easily, 9.7144 as your B variable. Going back to your document, okay, you can practice these small exercises uh, on internet or similar thing which come up to your mind to solve these things. Okay, so now getting data into R, okay? So if you're gonna go with the insights of the data, that what are the data insights? Like what if the data we are using is basically integer or the numeric data or the character data or the logical data or the factor data, or coming towards the basic of the statistics, that it is the nominal, categorical, or the numeric data. You can get the data on the Rstudio. So there is some framework that he's done, that the vector is coming up in the form like we have written already, 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, and the matrix come up in the shape of the matrix. We all knows that what is the shape of the matrix is that 2 into 2. There is some dimensions like 2 into 3, and the data frame. Data frame means that you are going to put your data in different categories, which has been shown here in the by using these colors. So we will get it later on in the same lecture. So if you are going to tell that the first number is 1, our character is A. Character means there is a nominal data or some character like my name or your height or something. Some logical thing is like that, some binary output like true or false, 0 or 1. A factor means red color or the green color, or the levels like best, excellent, best, good or bad, something like that, or the social status, poor, nominal, or the very rich, like that. Okay. Now creating a vector, we have already created a vector by naming the variable number 2. So it's going to create the vector by naming it by height. Okay. So they are putting some data sets like 150, 150 onwards, 151, and creating up the data set by the variable name height. And then these color means that you have got some other vector, the string one, which is computing with red, green, and blue, and survey logical values also created. You can also create the logical values by writing survey. Means this is not this is only the name of the variable. It's nothing about the commands. It's only the name of the variable, which is here is height, color, and survey, in which they are using the numeric data in height and using the categorical data in color, and in survey they are using the logical data. And you can also learn it from here, that the names of the variables in R. Like the data which you are going to use as nominal is the character data or the factor data. Factor means there are the different levels of the data, different categories of the data. Okay, now If you're going to request it in the first value of the vector, it means that in the variable 2. Let's show your screen. What we have done is in variable 2, if I want to find out the first variable of the first number of the data, I'm going to write this command variable 2 and the header number 1. So I can get the value of 12, which is the first number in my variable 2. Okay. So you can discuss it in the document, and later on at the number 10 they will get the 151, so you can find out what we are going to do in the number 4. And at height, it means that if you want to request the values between 3 to 7 place, how can you write it? So we can do it by using the Studio screen. It means that I'm going to extract the values from the third position up to sixth position, say. So I can write it by using variable 2 and the second position of the variable, and you can get it up to sixth position. So you will have all of the variables from all of the numbers from the variable 2, from the second position up to sixth position. They are 1, 15, 3, 20, and 6. You can counter check it. And now going towards the your lecture. So you will get it. This is the histogram which you have constructed for the data. So we can also construct the histogram like the summary of the data set, the variable height, and the standard deviation and the histogram. I'm sure that you have already know about it, but for the basics of the course, I must tell you. So you can share it, summary of the variable too. So for your convenience or for some spark, we can create the list name, which we have already extracted like on C. So we can get the summary of C, that is basically from 2 to 6 values of the variable 2, we can get the summary. So you can see here that the minimum, the first quartile, median, mean, and the third quartile and the maximum. All of the values you will get it from here. Similarly, you can get the histogram from here. So the histogram of the variable C, or you can also construct it for variable 2. But I'm going to tell you that how can you hack your data. Hack your data means that how can you do the parts of the data set. So you can clearly construct the histogram. And now coming back towards our lecture, we can get it here. Standard deviation of the or the variance of the variable C, you can find it out by observing. Okay, I'm not going to write it. Now they are talking about the data frame for your data set. It's going to write that the color, height, and survey. Now you have constructed a table, data.frame, color, height, and survey. So what you're gonna do is compiling up the data sets in the data frame. So I have not constructed the data for the other variables. So if I'm going to construct it like survey variable is like green, blue, okay, so I have written wrong here. You can see it in your document that how can you write The nominal variables we have already discussed in the lecture. It's like if you're gonna write it, that's the color variable and you will get it here. Okay. So you can practice it out. I'm skipping it for you, for the students. It's not a good thing, but you students will also know how to do tackling with the variables. So if you're gonna go within a table on the data frame, you can combine any of the three variables you have constructed. So you will have a header row and different values of the variable and the three columns which you have been constructed. Going on with the other things, that the row or the column you can learn it like square brackets. If you are going to read the table 2 comma 1, 2 comma means the row 2 and the column 1. Okay. So it will return it as green. Why it's going to return